Are we all ready? I'll call this meeting to order. First board meeting of the new year. I'd like to acknowledge the nations on whose traditional territory we are gathering, the Sinaiaks, the Knaha, the Secwepemc, and the Silex. And just before we get into things, I would like to also note for people that former trustee Doug Hamilton has passed away. I believe it was last Friday. Doug, as we all know, was a very proud member of this school board, served from 1998 to 2011, and I believe there may be an announcement in the next while about some sort of service or whatever.
Possibly.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know anything, David?
Yes, it's already on. It's on the current.
Okay.
Thanks, David.
And also, happier note, welcome Mark Juman, our new Secretary Treasurer. And we're not going to put you on the spot today.
Thanks very much.
Next time, be prepared next time, okay? Welcome to Revelstoke, and look how much snow we got. Were you surprised at that?
I was hoping that was qualifying for a heavy bump, but understand it's just a moderate level.
It's just normal. Excellent. Okay, the agenda. Have a motion to approve the agenda. Leslie, Jeff, all those in favor? Good. To approve the minutes of our last meeting on December 14th. Jeff and Leslie. I'm just going to go back and forth, okay?
That's it. We'll give Alan.
Maybe I'll throw Alan in there every now and then, Alan, okay?
Yeah.
Because Alan's actually on the phone there.
Feel free to put me down for a seconder or anything. It's fine. I'm listening on the phone.
Okay. So all those in favor of the minutes? Great. Carried. That takes us right to the superintendent's report.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. I'll highlight 5 items, and then one actually that didn't make it, but a little bit of work that Bob Rogers and I are engaging in together that too. I'll start with item number 2, just highlighting the work and paying a particular thank you to Tammy Thom and Tracy Hill, who represented Revelstoke teachers this past Friday at the Okanagan Mainline Regional Prodi in Kelowna. Presented to a group of about, there was 150 participants in total, presented to a group of about 40 participants in one of the breakout sessions on their Exploration Fridays, and did a fabulous job of the presentation. Got lots of questions afterwards and great connections with other educators throughout our region. We're joined by actually 10 staff made it up for that event, which is hosted by our regional superintendents meeting, or association, pardon me. And item number 9, I just wanted to acknowledge, and particularly because this is Mark's first meeting, acknowledge all the additional work that takes place as a result of this capital projects like that HVAC that we were hoping would be done in sometime in October, then hoping it would be done in sometime in November, and then hoping it would be done sometime in December, and all of the work that takes place when those delays happen. Not only ensuring that the project gets done still as quickly as we can, because some of those things happen without our control, but also maintaining really close communication levels of support for the schools that are suffering through the building, which in the end is a great thing in the work, but in the meantime is pretty challenging. And recognizing that Arrow Heights staff have put up with a pretty good deal of disruption. And there's never a good time to do construction in a school because you can't get it all done in the summertime, we know that. But Len and Bruce did a great job of mitigating a lot of those with doing things such as a daily check-in, and Len spent a fair bit of time up there and started his day actually most mornings at 6:37 doing a double check in the morning before anybody arrived. So I'm telling you that now because that project is really close to being complete. Hopefully it's the last time it appears on our work plan or on my activity report at any event. Item number 14. Just noting that our district calendar is out now to district parent advisory councils and to our school parent advisory councils for some feedback. The board will see that calendar at the first meeting in March for submission to the ministry by the end of March 31st. Thanks to Bob Rogers and the RTA executive for getting on the dates early, and also carrying through on the process in terms of looking at that 2-week spring break and including the summer days back in the Pro D, so that increasing student days for students. By having Pro-D in the summer, it continues to be a good model to facilitate the inclusion of that 2-week spring break. So that's the calendar that's out for feedback, and will come to you shortly, March 1st. I just highlighting item number 15, we'll work with the elementary principals and secondary principal and staff on their well-being goals. I'm really proud of the fact that we've got well-being goals at all 4 of the schools. Trustees will see the first 2. We just divided them into 2. So we just, for this meeting and next, you'll see in this package, we'll look at 2 of the growth plans, and then next meeting we'll look at the final 2. But really pleased we're at that point, acknowledging that health and well-being being so important, and the work that's gone into doing those. And almost finally, item number 17, noting the work of the kindergarten teachers, which is going on right now. And I saw Lucy Cruz at Columbia Park talking about the length of time it takes to complete that early development instrument. They do get a little bit of release time for it, but it never is enough release time, and there's training that comes along with that, but it's a really valuable tool in order for us to help to meet the needs of our kindergarten students and going forward into primary. And you well know that our EDI results have been the best in the province for many years through 7 waves of samples, and this is now, so we'll now be into our 8th wave, and kindergarten teachers are completing that now. And then 2 final ones. In terms of the work going on right now with Bob Rogers, you don't see this in the report because it's late breaking, of course, but in terms of the allocation of the additional dollars that came out as a result of the memorandum of understanding, which Alan is down the coast now discussing and working on behalf of the BCSDA. The discussion started today with the Columbia Park staff and how we would use that, and you will note that it's about $104,000, actually just about $105,000 was our share that's going straight into staffing and support in classrooms. And so Bob and I started that work today with Columbia Park staff. Tomorrow we see Bayview, RSS and Arrow Heights in the next, so we're seeing all the staffs in the next 4 lunch hours gathering feedback on how we're going to best use those dollars. So thanks to Bob and to the staffs for doing that. And finally, on the trustees' upcoming dates, just noting that the agenda for Onocho, the full itinerary will be coming out shortly to trustees. And as always, we're welcome to a whole lot of events that you see there that they're arriving on February 2nd with their welcome ceremony. And then trustees, as usual, will host the Onocho chaperones for a lunch. And I know Bill Barnon and Lily are hosting an evening as well, and all those other things will be on the agenda as you get that full agenda coming up to you. Looking forward to having you here.
Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, okay.
Well, the 104,000?
Yep.
And what kind of staffing is that for me?
That would roughly equate to about 2 FTE of staffing. So,
Teachers?
oh yes, in teachers. It is targeted at teachers, and that is the choice. There isn't that. Yeah.
Where would it go?
Pardon me?
Where would it go?
Where would it go?
Yeah.
That's, Bob and I are on that right now,
Oh,
really, it's, yeah. So, and the criteria came out along with it to say in what order we should be addressing things like class size, which I won't say we're perfect, we're really good with our class size, so there won't be a lot of discussions regarding class size for us, but really it's about supports. And you're talking about the FTE because you're about to clarify. The 2 FTE between now and the end of this school year, because by virtue of the timeline, if we were talking about this many dollars, roughly would equate to a full-time equivalent teacher. So, but because we will be able to spend the money between now and June, it would kind of double us up. Yeah.
Good. Any more, Jeff? That's it? Leslie?
Looking at number 10,
Sure.
this 3-year capital plan for trades grants.
Yes.
Does the Ministry of Education offer similar grants in other areas? And I'm specifically thinking about French language education, and particularly in conjunction with the rural education initiative that is being suggested here. Is there any possibility, and I can explain if you want me to take the time to do that, where this is coming from, but is there any possibility of 3-year or any kind of year capital grants, special grants, to support French language education in rural schools? Because one of the, well, I'll stop there, and then if you want me to explain more, I will.
Sure, yeah. Well, I will say that in terms of the funding that's coming out specifically for things like trades, are likely because there wasn't a focus on it previously, and so it is a new area. Whether it's getting more now than things like French language instruction, we'd have to do a little math on that, but in terms of our long-term commitment, we do have French federal funds annually that flow from federal government through the Ministry of Education to school boards that we do use to supplement our core funding. And in fact, our French language program pilot that we're running right now, the early primary one at Bayview, that one is being paid for through those French federal funds.
How much is that grant?
Our grant is about $9,000, just a squeak under $9,000.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my question is, still following on this,
Yes.
is there any possibility of upping that so that, in fact, French language education could be offered through the high school years completely? Not just as an initiative in the early years, but
Right.
all the way through high school
Yeah.
to every student who is interested in taking it.
Yeah, I think because you mentioned the rural fund, I think that we've got our March 10th
Yeah.
evening coming up when the province is coming through and seeking feedback. I think those kind of discussions are exactly the kind that we should be, that recommendations that we're looking for things that are rural schools or small schools struggle to maintain, and that would be a great one to bring up at that point. Yeah, but that could come from
Because
there.
about the role, I mean, I was going to
Yeah.
respond to that, and then I thought, no, as a single trustee, it's not my role right now to respond to that. I have to take it to the board somehow first, but since this is my last meeting, I'm not in a position to follow it through, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I have heard from a grade 10 student who is now coming back to Revelstoke after a semester at Seton, which is the French immersion school
Yeah.
in Vernon,
Yeah.
that he really wishes that he had been able to do French immersion. He really, after seeing what happens there, he really recognizes the benefit of that, whereas he didn't before, it never occurred to him.
Right, yes. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's where this is, anyway.
Yeah, I think that, I would defer that over to Jeff to say, he'll bring that forward because you've always got the interest in French language, and maybe offline we can talk and then decide on how to present that at the rural, at the feedback, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Leslie?
No, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Well, I've got to comment, Adam, when I can.
Okay, yeah,
You're just talking about the March 10th Rural Education Regional Open House and the upcoming date, and just a note that there's going to be 9 held throughout the province, so it's really good for us that one of the sites that's chosen is Revelstoke. So my suggestion would be as a board that we put this on the next agenda so that we prepare sort of our response. And I understand the format's going to be that there's going to be sort of an open house and followed by a facilitated discussion of what the issues are facing rural school districts. So having come to Revelstoke is a great opportunity for us, and just to make sure that we take advantage of that opportunity.
Can I add something to that?
yeah, go ahead.
Can I add just one more thing? Yeah, I think that's a really good comment, Alan, and I would just like to put in my 2 cents worth and say that the questions given by the ministry to sort of shape that discussion, to me, do not address the challenges of rural education in this province, and I would like to make sure that, or try to put forward the idea that our board go forward with some of the challenges, particularly in terms of funding, relative to the scope of academic and social programming that is available in larger urban centers compared to rural centers. I think we were vastly underfunded. And just while we're on the topic, that's my 2 cents worth. But I'll talk to Jeff maybe on email about that.
Yeah. Good, thank you. Arrow Heights Elementary School and Revelstoke Secondary School growth plans.
Good, okay, well, they're there for your review, and I won't spend time going through them, because as you know, when the principals start their annual reports in April, May and June, when they come and actually when we go to them and they present, of course, their school plan will be the focus of their presentation and their work with you. But only just to remind that we want them here and received by the board and then up on our website so that, folks can access them that way. And as I noted in my admin report, proud of the fact that all schools are focusing on student health and well-being and acknowledging the work that goes into doing them. And you know, with both the RSS and the Arrow Heights plans, and you'll see similar when you see the other two plans, that both making good use of the MDI, the Middle Years Development Instrument, grade 4 and grade 7. And just a reminder that although that is a grade 4, grade 7 tool, we've been doing it now for 5 years, we're into our 6th year. It is very representative of our students, not just our grade 4 and grade 7, so it does allow us to do a little bit of tracking out, asking some questions around student overall health and well-being. It isn't an individual student performance tool, so that's where you see these plans really largely focusing on that information. And also just noting that we're not required to approve school plans as we were in the past under the School Act with the change in the ministry's accountability framework, but that we still continue to receive them at the board level and ensure that they're made public.
Okay.
So there's a recommendation there for you.
Yes, so the recommendation is there for you. Would somebody like to do it? Leslie seconded. Alan, thank you, Alan. I'm assuming
Well,
there's
yeah,
questions.
good.
You saw that?
I didn't see it. So I'm assuming there's questions. Jeff, do you want to go first? No?
Oh,
No?
okay.
No? Leslie then, did you have any?
No, actually, I thought this was,
Yeah.
I have come to appreciate the value of these reports.
Sounds good, yeah.
That's great, thank you. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And then, we actually do have a memo here on the open house that we're holding,
Yep.
that the minister is holding here in Revelstoke on March the 10th. Just to note again that it is a Friday, because it is open to the public, I understand too, right?
The public will be invited, yes.
Right,
yeah.
so it's Friday, March the 10th, from 6 to 8 p.m. And the suggestion there, the talk that we've had a bit about making sure that we maybe put together something as far as our response to this or our input to this, I think would be really good. And I'm not sure how we can handle it, what committee should we have it through?
Well, I wonder if we just do a little work together and bring something back to this, to our next board meeting for open discussion. And I think that would be whoever could get together for a meeting, and we would facilitate that.
Yep.
Gather some feedback and put it into a written document and bring it back to the next one as a draft to our board meeting.
Sounds good. And you're interested in
Just for clarification, Mr. Chairman, you mentioned being on a Friday night. When I was dealing with ministry representatives, when we first had the conversation, we did explore the option to do it on a non-Friday, which we thought might increase participation. But because there's an MLA involved, it has to be in the House as a city. And so the House sits on the other days of the week. So she would get here and then have to be back for Monday morning. So it was Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So that's where
Going for it, yeah.
Good.
Thanks for that.
And you wouldn't want to go to this on Friday night anyway, seriously, yes, yeah.
Even for light refreshment.
And some food.
Some food and light refreshments, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get together in the next little while to take care of that.
Yep.
Moving along here, Secretary Treasurer Bruce on the final grant for
So we
2018.
received our almost final grant, but the money that the superintendent referred to, $105,000 is on top of this, so that's not included as part of this. Mike and I work together, I think we've given you some indication every December on using the ministry's numbers where we thought we were going to come in. We were within about 12,000, I think, of what the actual grants were. So the money's been spent. I guess you get the night, if you look at the bottom line, we've gone up by about $370,000, and that's great. But throughout the course of the fall, there was additional staffing for the most part, is where it went, because this was generated by students, which meant additional staffing. And so there are details here, and we've got some information here, and I'd be prepared to try and answer any other questions that you may have.
Okay, good. Any questions for Bruce? No? I would just like to comment, I think it's so nice that our enrollment is going up, and I hope that's a trend that continues.
Nice to be in growth, isn't it?
Yes.
I think the biggest thing too is number 4, on the points that were there. In fact, you know, if you go back 4 or 5 years ago, this got nothing to do with Mike, myself being such a great team and building up the enrollment. But if you go back to those days where there's different funding protection venues coming in, so that when new students came in, we didn't necessarily see extra money. It just shifted from one line to the other, and now we're dependent on that, and that's a really nice position to be in. So I'm glad to see that.
Thank you. Committee reports, the communications committee, that's Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
We started out with an overview of the goals that we identified in the strategic plan, and there's progress in pretty much all of them. There's one thing that I brought up, and that was communications to do with the surplus school sites. From what I heard, whoever I talked to, they don't have only the most vague ideas of what is going on there. And I was wondering how we could make the public more aware. So Leslie suggested making an interview on the local radio station for more people. Like we've been going into this sort of focus groups for different topics, but maybe for the general public, going to the local radio station. And she also commented that we're also very well served by the news media that we have here, the Current and Mountaineer and Rev and so on. So these are possibly maybe talking or contact some else. So Mike suggested possible interview discussions on current education plans, disposition of surplus school sites, and future plans. And so at the end of the meeting, Mike went about a number of policies on school policies on the community, the school community connections. And so in light of these approach to communications, we might have to do some revisions of those policies. And so we'll be looking at the next meeting and probably bringing to the policy for that. The next meeting is February 20th.
Good. Thank you. Would you like to make a motion that those minutes be received? Seconded, Leslie. Any discussion on those? Questions? All those in favor then? Carried. Okay. Correspondence. We have one piece, and that is a letter from the Ministry of Education dated the January 11th, which outlines the provisions in the letter of understanding, which is the interim agreement that provides the $50 million that is flowing into all the school districts with regards to the Supreme Court ruling on the BCTF case with regards to the class size and composition clauses being stripped from their contracts. And that basically outlines what needs to be done in each school district. And as Mike has already explained, he's working with Bob to work that through and to see where the best way is for our district to spend that initial $105,000. And I don't know if anybody has any questions on that. No? Okay. It's good to see that that's moving forward in such a positive way. I guess that's it, except Leslie, you want to do something?
Oh, sure, oh, yeah, well, so
We're to the end of the
you're
agenda.
you're noting that this is Leslie's last board meeting, and actually in our last board meeting, we said this is your last board meeting. And so this is twice gifting this present, because this is presented to you by the Aboriginal Education Advisory Committee at Leslie's last. Do you want us to stand up? Okay.
Oh, yeah. And if you could just, yeah, thank you, Bill.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, okay, well, holy, okay.
Right.
Because we are going to watch this.
Oh,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
We are gonna-
Well.
Oh, I
David-
see, we have to
David-
look there.
No, I didn't know we're talking about there. Just acknowledging that, of course, at our last board meeting, we acknowledged the work that Leslie had done and thanked her for that. And at our last Aboriginal Education Advisory Committee meeting, probably the last couple, there were some tears and some thank yous because the Aboriginal Education Advisory was really a great love of yours and a big education, as you described, a major education also for you. And so she was presented with a blanket there, but it did not have the logo. So that's why we get to present the blanket again this evening on behalf of, and Ariel
Let's
would have been
hold the
down here.
logo up,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see.
so we'll hold the logo
There
up,
it
that's
is.
right. It is a beautiful logo.
Yeah.
It's on your.
And this
on
is
your
lovely
blanket.
gift.
And it's the blanket that the
That's-
students receive at graduation as well. Yeah, so-
Very pleased to accept this.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
very
yeah,
much.
yeah. All right.
Yes, and again, I just want to say we wish you the best of luck, you and David.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah. And I saw Megan Bouvette today over at Columbia Park Elementary. She was very excited. Great, you know, great Megan, grade 7 teacher. And she said, "We're in our house." I said, "Well, that must mean Leslie's next door." So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It-
I've
it's-
already had
it's so-
one meltdown today, so.
It's so fitting that Leslie's home now is being, though, occupied by an educator and a wonderful teacher. So it's a great thing that happened by you. turning that home.
We're
They're-
so
they're very excited,
pleased.
yeah.
to, that local, the
Yeah.
local teacher and her
Yes.
husband have bought
Yeah,
the
yeah,
house.
yeah. Young family, and it'll be full of life, so it's really nice, yeah, yeah.
Great, great. And that takes us to our question period. Anybody have questions?
Oh, I just have a quick, just a typo, I guess. Number 7 on the superintendent report.
Oh,
I
there's no
actually-
typos. I asked Susie to read it twice.
I actually have a grade 4-5 class, not a 5-6.
Oh, you didn't say 5-6 in there? I know you've got a 4-5.
I know.
It's like-
But everybody thinks I
Thank
still have
you.
a 5-6, because
That's
that's what I
right,
normally
yes,
have.
yeah,
It's been
yeah,
like
yeah.
everywhere
Thank-
this year, it's been 5, anyway.
Thank you for the pause.
Before
Thank
5.
you. Thanks for noting that, yeah.
And that was it.
That's it.
And we don't often have anybody from the public, and this, we have at the end of our board meetings always a question period. If you have any questions arising from the items on the agenda.
I just came to observe. Thank you.
Great. So then we can adjourn to, motion, right? To